I got rid of the old, and it took my life in a completely new direction. Freed myself from what was so dear to me, and therefore what was so difficult to say goodbye to. Events began to unfold rapidly and miraculously. I really started a new life. I found strength and courage to let go of unnecessary, and everything old and obsolete was replaced by a new one. I would even say unexpectedly new, something that I did not even count on. I would like to share this incredible story of global decluttering with an amazing result. How do changes usually happen? Thanks to the effort, persistence, and perhaps hard work, you want changes, you make them. In fact, it's not that simple, but it is quite understandable and expected, because you've been trying hard all this time. The recent change in my life was really unexpected. I would even say magical. I didn't do anything special for it. It all started on an ordinary summer day, in an ordinary city, in an ordinary courtyard with old houses which I always passed on the way to my home. That day I suddenly noticed wide open doors and windows without glass and frames in one of the oldest houses. And my curiosity did not allow me to pass by. I met a woman at the entrance. She kindly invited me to her apartment and told me how she had lived here happily all her life, raised her children and grandchildren, and how every corner of this house was so dear to her. The stove, which like the house is more than 100 years old, and which she heated first with wood, then with coal, then with gas. This is not just a story for her. It is the story of her whole life. That's why she can't start a new one in any way, living in a new, beautiful and comfortable apartment for more than 3 months now. After all, though old, but the things and the whole atmosphere here were so dear to her heart. Each of us has such special and lovely things that we lock and carefully store, not for use, but as a memory of something important to us. Parting with these treasures is always very difficult, almost impossible. In the view of everyone else, these are not treasures at all, but old trash and junk. But we, the owners of such wealth, sincerely believe that this is our life. We're so merged with this picture that we do not notice where a beautiful, romantic or sentimental memory is, and where our real life is. Where are the pictures of the past, though the happiest, but the past, that is no longer there, and it simply will not work to live in it now. And where is present life? The one that is always online, the one that constantly requires updating, but not furniture and wardrobe, but primarily of internal freshness and free space. All our lives we drag something into the family, into the house, renew the facades, both our own and our homes. We renew all movable and immovable property. But does our life get renewed at the same time? Good question, isn't it? The main law of nature and life is renewal, which begins with general cleaning not only of the external, but above all the internal space. After an incredible adventure that happened to me later on that wonderful day, and after meeting this woman, I decided to do something that I had been putting off for years. I've been thinking about a serious cleaning for quite some time. I wanted to sort out all the far corners and storerooms that held so-called treasures and heirlooms. There was a storage room, even two, in our apartment. They almost never opened and were filled with the stuff that we perceived as our life and the life of our family. I started getting everything out of these closets and organizing it. I sorted through things in my free time for several months, tried to classify everything into the necessary and unnecessary, turned over the pages of my past life, reading diaries that I had kept for more than 30 years, sorted through family stuff that are more than 50 years old, and in the end I got rid of almost everything that was so precious past and could not be useful either in the present or in the future. To be honest, I do not know how I had the courage, determination and patience to do this. At that moment, I did not yet realize that I was in the early days of a long journey. Having seen the outdated life of this woman and her neighbors, the way she spent many months returning from her new apartment to the old ruins so dear and beloved, I looked with new eyes at my faded ideas about my own life and the role of things in it. I feel like that day I literally entered the portal number 11. By the way, this is the date of my birth, and it's like I was born again. Exploring an abandoned next room, a clock with a very strange dial looked at me behind a layer of old wallpaper, as if bending space and time. In this 11th apartment, everything was both mesmerizing and mind-blowing. Like any other curious woman, I opened the closet. And it opened to me. It opened up new horizons. It was not cluttered with things. It was open and free for the wildest dreams. For new colors of life. When I entered this magical portal, I stepped out of my past life and entered a new dream life, which soon became a reality. The new comes when we let go not only old things, but previously former thoughts, ideas, feelings, desires, and even past dreams. I dreamed of living in one place where there is sun, sea, and lots of fruits, It was my cherished dream, distant and impossible. We were separated by thousands of kilometers and dozens of good reasons. Having entered a magical closet, I was freed from doubts and all that weighed on me. I felt myself in my own Narnia, in that space and dimension where everything is possible. I wanted to keep this feeling and even to amplify it a little, creating an intention for a life free from prejudice and any burdens through spontaneous dance. I finally did what I couldn't do for years. I began to break free from the very last, from the dearest to my heart, from what I kept as exhibits of the museum of my life. I got rid of unnecessary documents, things, furniture, utensils, books, even from my diaries, so-called family heirlooms, leaving only some things in memory of my loved ones. As a result, a global decluttering smoothly flowed into a global life change. Suddenly my dream came true, which I had let go of my heart for a long time, just as I let go of all these things, all my heavy anchors. And life itself carried me towards my dream. I wanted to share this story from my life. As you can see, what a powerful push to change can be given by seemingly ordinary life situations. For some, it's completely unremarkable, but for me, it was impressive and really life-changing. Thank you, my dear friend, for being there and living this story with me. See you in the comments. With love, your Dreamy.